Hey there, I'm Julie, and this is the Married to Addiction podcast. If you're here, then you're probably what I call my secret sister. We're in a situation we never asked to be in and fighting a battle we never wanted to fight. We're faith-filled women who are married to an alcoholic, and it affects every inch of our lives. If that sounds like you, then this is a safe place for you to land. Married to Addiction is a faith-based podcast where I help you find the tools and strength you need to navigate your husband's addiction without losing yourself in the process. So please subscribe and tune in as often as you can, because your husband's recovery is important, but so is yours. Hello, and welcome in to episode 117 of the Married to Addiction podcast. This episode is called Phone Boundaries: When to Text Back and When to Leave It on Red. So today we're going to talk about something that actually seems simple, but for many of us as wives of alcoholics, it can be one of the most triggering things. And that is, when should you text your husband back and when should you not? So if your husband struggles with alcohol, which I'm assuming he does since you're here, you already know how much weight a single text message can carry. One message can throw you off emotionally for hours or even the whole rest of the day. You might constantly wonder when you get one of these, should I respond right now? What if he gets angry if I don't respond? What if he really needs me? But what if I also get pulled into another fight? The truth is that communication during addiction can be one of the biggest sources of anxiety for wives. So today I want to walk you through some simple guidelines for when to respond and when to also give yourself permission to leave it on red. So why do boundaries around our phone really matter as the wife of an alcoholic? Because when your phone is constantly lighting up with texts or calls from your husband, your nervous system is staying in a state of high alert. So every notification that comes through feels like a jolt, right? Because you don't know what's coming next. Is it going to be calm? Is it going to be chaotic? Is it going to be gaslighting you, attacking you? Like, what's coming? And your nervous system reacts to that. So that is why we really need to think about creating some phone boundaries as the wife of an alcoholic. And I want you to realize that these boundaries aren't about just ignoring him or being controlling. So sometimes we can ignore in an effort to be controlling, right? This is not that. This is about protecting your peace and choosing healthy or healthier time to respond instead of just reacting in the moment from fear or emotion. Remember also that responding quickly doesn't automatically equal being loving, because sometimes love means waiting until it's more wise to respond, waiting to another time. So let's start with when to respond, because not every message from your husband is unsafe or unhealthy, obviously. So it's usually okay to respond when, one, he's sober and respectful, right? If he's clear-headed, calm, communicating kindly, you can respond just as you would with anyone else. That's the best time, actually, for good, relational, healthy conversation. Two, if the message is about something practical. So if it's about logistics in your life, like dinner plans, kid schedules, household needs, those types of things, yes, it's okay to respond briefly and clearly. So you don't need to over-explain or read between the lines. You can just keep it simple and factual. Like, yes, I will pick up our son at 3, or dinner will be ready at 6. These types of short, direct messages protect you from emotional over-engagement. The third time that it's usually okay to reply is if you feel grounded. So before you respond, you want to make sure that you check in with yourself. So ask yourself if the first two are true or one or the other are true. You want to also ask yourself, am I calm enough to respond wisely? So if he's just asking you about picking up your son and you're still mad because he got drunk last night and you want to tell him about himself, if you're upset or if you're resentful, you should probably wait. Responding in a regulated state and from a calm place will almost always lead to better communication. So if you feel yourself kind of in that headspace, you might want to pray first. You might want to say, Lord, help me answer from peace. Help me answer from a calm place. Or if you think it's better for you to just wait, just wait. So when should you leave it on red? Something comes through and you just leave it on red. When do you do that? When should you not respond? because this is actually where the real peace building starts. Leave it on red. Don't respond when, number one, he's been drinking. So you know by the message, because it sounds antagonistic, angry, erratic, etc., that he's been drinking. It's not worth engaging in those moments. No productive conversation is going to happen when alcohol is involved. And I'm sure you've already seen that play out in your life a million times. I know I did. You can instead remind yourself, this version of him is not the one I can talk to. I need to wait until he's sober. And your silence in that moment is not being disrespectful. It's self-protection. The second time you want to probably leave a text on red and not reply is if he's trying to argue, manipulate, or guilt you. So if the text feels emotionally charged, like he's baiting you into a fight, or he's blaming you, or trying to make you feel guilty, all of those things, you have permission to disengage. You don't have to explain your boundaries either in a text war. Your peace is worth more than proving your point. So that means sometimes you don't even want to say, I'm not going to talk to you about this right now. Sometimes you just need to leave it alone, right? If you are being baited, sometimes just silence is the best answer in that moment. The third time that it's probably not a good time to respond is if your gut is just telling you it's not a good time. That anxious kind of fluttery feeling that your gut is kind of telling you, I should probably wait. So if you feel like you have to answer right now, but right after that, you get that gut check, you want to pause, you want to breathe, and you want to wait 10 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe even a few hours if you're still kind of feeling uncomfortable about it before you respond. Most situations are not as urgent as they feel in the moment, and sometimes just giving yourself a little bit of time to just wait it out will help you realize that. The last time is that it's kind of better to just let things go and leave it on red and not respond is if it's really late at night. So you don't owe anyone, including your husband, emotional access to you after a certain hour if he is inebriated or if he is being confrontational. So if his texts come in late, silence your phone. Take a deep breath. Tell yourself, this can wait until morning, and get the rest that I know you probably desperately need. So all that being said, how do we handle the feelings around this that are definitely going to pop up for sure when you start trying to make these changes? So this can really feel like a hard adjustment to make, because if you've spent years responding immediately out of fear and panic, or trying to keep the peace by responding, in a way that's trying to diffuse the situation, not answering at all can feel really wrong. So you may start to worry that, okay, he's going to get angry, or he's going to accuse me of ignoring him or being mean. Maybe this is going to cause him move him into a spiral where he just drinks more and more because I'm ignoring him. But remember, his reaction to a boundary is not your responsibility. What he does with that is not on you. That's on him. You are allowed to protect your mental and emotional health. This is not about control. It's about surrendering to what is actually within your control. Big difference. You cannot manage his drinking or his reactions, but you can manage your own peace, your own timing, and your access to you, or his access to you. And that is super important. And sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is pause before responding. Hello. Am I right? I know there's so many times where I just said what I felt like I needed to say, and then I got a God check, right? Not a gut check, but a God check, where you just feel like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that, should I? So pausing before responding, whether that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 hours, sometimes is the absolute best thing you can do. Also, that pause that you take creates space for God to work, whether that's in you, because you should wait before you say what you want to say, which is probably not conducive to a healthy conversation, or in your husband. right? Sometimes the space, I know you've heard me say this before, sometimes the space that we create by our silence or our pulling away is the exact place that God needs to come in and go to work. So before you rush in to fix something or soothe something or whatever, if you feel like you're having that little gut check, that probably means that you need to pause and create that space. So how do we navigate all this in the moment when you are just emotionally charged because the text has come in and you're just thinking, okay, what did I hear on that podcast episode? What was the time to respond? What was not? Here's a quick, simple rule to help you remember. Okay. If he's sober, respectful, and you're calm, reply. So that's part him and part you, right? If he's sober, on him. If he's being respectful, on him. And you're calm, on you, it's okay to reply. If he's drinking, or he's agitated, or you're anxious, you should wait. Okay? If he's drinking or agitated, or if you're anxious. Now, keep in mind that this is an or, right? So he might be being sober and respectful, but you're not calm. That's when you want to wait, right? So that basically one thought process can help you discern 90% of your texting decisions. So if he's sober, respectful, and you're calm, it's good. If he's drinking, agitated, or you're anxious, you should wait. That's a really easy way to just kind of remember in the moment. It is also a really good idea to create some phone habits that will help you also protect your peace. This looks like turning your phone on Do Not Disturb when he's drinking and is sending you triggering texts. Because if one text comes through and you decide, I shouldn't respond to this right now, and you make the good decision to not respond, and then a second one and a third one, and your phone's just like ding, 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 or buzz, 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 and you know that he's just like lighting you up, right? Like, here they come. Here comes all the madness and the chaos because he's been drinking, and now he's mad that you're not responding, and it's going crazy. Do Not Disturb is your BFF in those moments. Out of sight, out of mind. You have to make the decision one time. I am not going to respond right now because either he is not in a good place or I am not in a good place. And because I know that it is not good for me to respond right now and I need to take a pause, Do Not Disturb. Turn it on, right? Another thing that you can do that's a really good idea is if your husband is out drinking, or even if you are at home, like I said, and he's in another part of the room, keep your phone away from you. So if you know that he's going to be lighting up your phone, so say like he's, in his man cave or whatever, and he's like 5 beers in, and you're inside trying to have a peaceful dinner with your kids, put your phone in another room, put it in your bedroom, plug it in, so that when you're having that time, when you need peace, or your kids need peace, or your kids need you to be peaceful for them, etc., you are not tempted to go over and check or any of the things. Keep your phone away. Another thing that's good, just practice in general, is to take breaks from your phone throughout the day. When we are so tied to our phones, whether texts are coming in or not, it can really, really just tax you mentally. So just getting in the habit of taking some phone breaks throughout the day so that you can rest your mind, refresh your mind, etc., is always a good idea. And remember that silence is not punishment. Silence is not control. Silence equals peace. And if you start reclaiming boundaries with your phone, you will notice a huge difference in your anxiety levels. So, if this hits home, if this sounds like, oh my gosh, I need this, because yes, this situation plays out in my house all the time. I'm constantly like, after 6 o'clock, I know that the texts are going to start coming in. It's so stressful. And every single night, I'm just on high alert, like those types of things. If that's you, and if you constantly feel your body tighten the moment that your phone buzzes or dings, then I really encourage you to think about also joining us in the Secret Sister Circle for some help around that, because our foundational lessons in the SSC are all about learning basically how to feel safe again in your body. and how to feel safe again in your environment. And we talk about what's really happening in your nervous system when you feel on edge like that. And I guide you through practices that can help you stay calm and that you can use to calm yourself in situations just like these, instead of just automatically going, full tilt, heightened alert, and staying there, which is so taxing to your nervous system and ultimately your mental health, your physical health, all of the things. When you learn how to calm your body on that foundational level, it becomes so much easier to do things like set healthy boundaries around your phone. So if that sounds like something that you could use, that would be helpful for you. Also, there's 80 other lessons in the SSC around pretty much every possible scenario that you could encounter as a wife of an alcoholic, plus a private community, et cetera, et cetera. You can go see all of the things that are included at secretsisterscircle.com. And I encourage you to join us today, because it truly is just the baseline for everything you need to be able to manage situations like these, and feel confident and know what to do day by day, and to learn how to truly live in peace, regardless of what your husband is doing. So remember, the next time that text comes in from your husband, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, is this the right time to respond? You do not have to answer every message in real time. You can let peace set the pace. Remember that line. You can let peace set the pace. Wisdom does not rush. Okay? Silence is often the most powerful response you can give when chaos is knocking and you know that you need to protect your peace in that moment. So until next time, remember how important it is to protect your peace. Do the things that help you do that. Stay anchored in truth. And know that you are never alone in this. As always, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Quick question for you before I let you go today. Have you been to the Married to Addiction website? If you haven't, I would love if you would go pay it a visit. It's just marriedtoaddiction.com. And over there, you can see just a lot of different information about my podcast. There is a blog on there. There's some free resources for you. And there's also a few ways that you can actually get some help if you need a little more help and direction and support as you travel this difficult path with your addicted husband. So if you haven't yet, please go visit marriedtoaddiction.com. Thanks so much.